Non-metallic surface extensions have specific requirements for their placement relative to the floor. These extensions can be run in any direction from an existing outlet, but they are not permitted to be run on the floor or within a certain distance from the floor. The specific section in the National Electrical Code, or NEC, that addresses this is 314.22. While this section generally discusses surface extensions, it may not explicitly detail the floor proximity restriction. The answer that is applicable is 10 atwa. Let's delve into the specific requirements to provide a comprehensive understanding. Firstly, it's essential to understand the purpose of these regulations. The restrictions on running non-metallic surface extensions close to the floor are primarily for safety and protection. Extensions placed on the floor are susceptible to physical damage, such as being stepped on or kicked, which can compromise the insulation and potentially expose live conductors. This creates a risk of electric shock or fire. Secondly, moisture is another critical factor. Floors are more likely to be exposed to moisture, either from cleaning activities, spills, or dampness from the ground. Moisture can penetrate damaged or improperly installed surface extensions, leading to short circuits and other electrical hazards. Thirdly, the NEC aims to minimize these risks by setting a minimum height requirement for surface extensions above the floor. While the specific height can vary depending on local codes and interpretations, it is generally set to provide a reasonable level of protection against physical damage and moisture exposure. Fourthly, to find the exact height requirement in your jurisdiction, consult the latest edition of the NEC and any local amendments or interpretations. The NEC is updated regularly to reflect the latest safety standards and best practices. Fifthly, local amendments can be more stringent than the NEC, so it is important to be aware of any local regulations that apply in your area. Sixthly, when installing non-metallic surface extensions, ensure that the wiring method is suitable for the location. Non-metallic surface raceways, for example, are designed to protect conductors from physical damage and are suitable for dry, indoor locations. Seventhly, use appropriate fittings and connectors to ensure that the installation is mechanically sound and electrically safe. All connections should be tight and secure to prevent loose wires or exposed conductors. Eighthly, consider the overall aesthetics of the installation. While functionality and safety are paramount, a neat and professional installation will enhance the appearance of the space. Ninthly, route the surface extension in a way that minimizes visual impact and blends in with the surrounding environment. Tenthly, when planning the layout of the surface extension, consider the location of furniture and other objects that could potentially obstruct or damage the wiring. 11thly, avoid running the extension behind furniture or in areas where it is likely to be stepped on or bumped. 12thly, if the surface extension needs to cross a doorway or other high-traffic area, consider using a more robust wiring method, such as metal conduit, to provide additional protection. 13thly, always energize the circuit before working on any electrical wiring. This is a fundamental safety precaution that can prevent the electric shock. 14thly, use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is de-energized before proceeding with the installation. 15thly, follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations. These codes are designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. 16thly, if you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, hire a qualified electrician to perform the installation. A licensed electrician has the knowledge and experience to ensure that the installation is done safely and correctly. 17thly, when selecting non-metallic surface extensions, choose products that are listed by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, or all. 18thly, listed products have been tested to meet safety standards and are more likely to perform reliably. 19thly, avoid using damaged or substandard materials. Damaged wiring or fittings can create a safety hazard. 20thly, inspect all materials carefully before installation and discard any that are damaged or defective. 21stly, ensure that the surface extension is properly supported. Use appropriate clamps or fasteners to secure the wiring to the wall or ceiling. 22ndly, unsupported wiring can sag or become damaged over time. 23rdly, when making connections, use wire connectors that are appropriate for the size and type of wire being used. 24thly, do not over-tighten wire connectors, as this can damage the wires. 25thly, after completing the installation, test the circuit to ensure that it is working properly. 26thly, use the multimeter to check the voltage and continuity of the circuit. 27thly, if you find any problems, such as a short circuit or open circuit, troubleshoot the wiring and correct the issue before energizing the circuit. 28thly, label all circuits clearly. This will make it easier to identify circuits in the future. 29thly, use a permanent marker to label the circuits in the electrical panel. 30thly, keep a record of all electrical work that you perform. This record should include the date of the work, a description of the work performed, and any materials used. 31stly, this record can be helpful for future maintenance or troubleshooting. 32ndly, if you are adding a new circuit, be sure to calculate the load on the circuit to ensure that it is not overloaded. 33rdly, an overloaded circuit can trip the circuit breaker or blow a fuse. 34thly, if you are unsure how to calculate the load on a circuit, consult a qualified electrician. 35thly, when working with electrical wiring, always wear appropriate personal protective equipment, or PP. 36thly, this equipment may include safety glasses, gloves, and insulated tools. 37thly, never work on electrical wiring when you are tired or distracted. 38thly, focus and concentration are essential when working with electricity. 39thly, if you are taking medication that can affect your alertness or judgment, do not work on electrical wiring. 40thly, avoid working on electrical wiring in wet or damp conditions. 41stly, water is a conductor of electricity and can create a serious shock hazard. 42ndly, if you must work in wet conditions, take extra precautions to protect yourself from electric shock. 43rdly, use a ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, to protect yourself from electric shock. 44thly, a GFCI is a device that can detect ground faults and quickly shut off the power to the circuit. 45thly, GFCIs are required in many locations, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. 46thly, regularly inspect your electrical wiring and equipment for any signs of damage. 47thly, look for frayed wires, cracked insulation, and loose connections. 48thly, if you find any damage, repair it immediately. 49thly, have your electrical system inspected by a qualified electrician on a regular basis. 50thly, an electrical inspection can identify potential problems before they become serious hazards. 51stly, be aware of the signs of electrical problems, such as flickering lights, burning smells, and warm outlets. 52ndly, if you notice any of these signs, investigate the problem and correct it as soon as possible. 53rdly, never ignore electrical problems. Electrical problems can be dangerous and can lead to fire or electric shock. 54thly, if you are not sure how to correct an electrical problem, consult a qualified electrician. 55thly, do not attempt to repair electrical equipment that you are not qualified to repair. 56thly, electrical equipment should only be repaired by qualified technicians. 57thly, if you are replacing electrical equipment, use equipment that is rated for the voltage and amperage of the circuit. 58thly, using the wrong equipment can create a safety hazard. 59thly, when replacing a light fixture, be sure to turn off the power to the circuit before removing the old fixture. 60thly, follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing the new fixture. 61stly, when replacing an outlet, be sure to turn off the power to the circuit before removing the old outlet. 62ndly, follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing the new outlet. 63rdly, when replacing a switch, be sure to turn off the power to the circuit before removing the old switch. 64thly, follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing the new switch. 65thly, be sure to properly ground all electrical equipment. Grounding provides a path for electricity to flow safely back to the source in the event of a fault. 66thly, improper grounding can create a shock hazard. 67thly, use a grounding wire to connect all metal parts of electrical equipment to the grounding system. 68thly, ensure that the grounding wire is properly connected to the grounding electrode. 69thly, the grounding electrode is typically a metal rod that is driven into the ground. 70thly, the grounding electrode should be located as close as possible to the electrical panel. 71stly, avoid overloading electrical outlets. Overloading an outlet can create a fire hazard. 72ndly, do not plug too many appliances into a single outlet. 73rdly, use a power strip with a surge protector to protect your electronic equipment from power surges. 74thly, a surge protector can help to prevent damage to your equipment from lightning strikes or other power surges. 75thly, unplug electrical appliances when they are not in use. This can help to save energy and reduce the risk of fire. 76thly, keep electrical cords away from heat sources. Heat can damage electrical cords and create a fire hazard. 77thly, do not run electrical cords under rugs or carpets. This can trap heat and create a fire hazard. 78thly, do not use electrical cords that are damaged or frayed. Damaged cords can create a shock hazard or a fire hazard. 79thly, replace damaged cords immediately. 80thly, if you have any questions about electrical safety, consult a qualified electrician. 81stly, electrical safety is important for protecting yourself and your family from electrical hazards. 82ndly, by following these safety tips, you can help to prevent electrical accidents. 83rdly, remember that electricity can be dangerous. 84thly, always be careful when working with electricity. 85thly, if you are not sure how to do something safely, ask for help. 86thly, a qualified electrician can help you with any electrical work that you need to have done. 87thly, do not attempt to do electrical work that you are not qualified to do. 88thly, electrical work should only be done by qualified professionals. 89thly, the NEC is a comprehensive set of standards for electrical safety. 90thly, the NEC is updated every 3 years. 91stly, the latest edition of the NEC should be consulted for all electrical work. 92ndly, local codes and regulations may be more stringent than the NEC. 93rdly, local codes and regulations should be followed in addition to the NEC. 94thly, electrical permits may be required for some electrical work. 95thly, check with your local building department to determine if a permit is required. 96thly, electrical inspections are typically required for permitted electrical work. 97thly, an electrical inspection ensures that the work has been done in accordance with the NEC and local codes. 98thly, the electrical inspector may require corrections to be made to the electrical work. 99thly, the electrical work must be approved by the electrical inspector before it can be energized. 100thly, non-metallic surface extensions can be a convenient way to add electrical outlets or switches to a room. However, it is important to follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations when installing non-metallic surface extensions. 101stly, ensure that the surface extension is properly supported and protected from physical damage. 102ndly, avoid running the surface extension in areas where it could be exposed to moisture or other hazards. 103rdly, use appropriate fittings and connectors to ensure a safe and reliable electrical connection. 104thly, if you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, hire a qualified electrician to perform the installation. 105thly, the safety and compliance aspects are all equally important.